Now we're on to exercise 10. Exercise 10 is basically going over what you just did in exercise 9 and explaining it a bit further. I'm going to show you the relevant part, the thing that you should focus on, and then I'll type this code in too. There's a list of escape sequences. And what an escape sequence is basically a backslash followed by another character. What happens is Python, when it hits these backslashes, knows that the next character is to be interpreted as some other code or some other character. So it's a way of having your cake and eating it too. It's a way for you to type in a string that starts with double quotes and single quotes and is in ASCII text, but then put special characters in that might mess up the file if you had actually typed those characters in. A good example of that is a new line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example of why you need these. So I'm going to fire up my Vim. And I'm going to create exercise 10. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take exercise 10. I'm going to just type some code to show you some stuff. Then I'll type the real exercise 10 in. So the first thing is, imagine I want to print out something simple. All right. I want a new line character in there, but I can't actually hit the new line. It would do this. Let's say I want to put a new line between something and simple. So I can't just put an enter there because what happens is Python starts at the double quote up here and then reads and it hits this end of the line and it'll complain because it expects another double quote to end that string. All the quotes or all the strings are sort of like bounded by these double quotes. So what if I want to put a new line there? Well, that's what the backslash n does for me. It encodes into the string a new line by letting me sort of create an escape hatch, why they call it an escape character, to put that code into there. Other codes can be if I want to put another double quote. Now you might ask, why do I need to do that? Well, watch the syntax highlighting. See how the string is orange right now? And let me increase the font real quick. So see how the string is orange? If I just put just a double quote there, it sort of ruins it. What happens is Python goes, oh, okay, starts at the beginning of that string. I'll put the cursor there. So it starts right there. And it goes, all right, we're starting a string. String, 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 string. Okay, we ended a string. Character, character, what is this? It doesn't know what that is. It doesn't know if it's a string or a function you're trying to call or something. So to solve this problem, you have an escape character. Throw the escape character in there, and it's letting you have your cake and eat it too. You can use quotes to denote text that you want to print out, but then also put a quote in it. So, the vast majority of these escape characters aren't really used. The ones I use the most is the backslash, in case I have to put a backslash in something I'm printing, the single quote and the double quote, and the new line. Those are really the ones I use the most. After that, sometimes I'll use the Unicode character ones if I need to put in a Unicode character of some kind. And sometimes I'll use the X if I have to put in a hex code. But other than that, it's mostly new line, tab, maybe. Now for the exercise. This exercise is basically just using these escape sequences to create formatting characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type this code in and then run it. And it's pretty straightforward. So you should be able to just stop now and go back to the video unless you want to see me do this. All right, type in the code in. All right, everything typed in. Pretty straightforward. Let's see if I got it right. Now, since this is using characters to tab things in, add new lines, stuff like that, we should go and look and see what the What You Should See section says. And what I'll do is I'll put the terminal side by side. Okay, there you go. And it looks the same. You can see we've got some stuff tabbed in. We've got some new lines. And what you can do is you can then go and look at the code. So I'll try to fit the code on the screen at the same time. Okay, so now we can go and see what each of these special characters did. If we look up at the top here, line 1, we got this \t. Looking at the terminal, it indented it about 8 characters. And then looking in the output in the book, 4. That's probably 8, but it might be fonts. Come over to the second line. We got this \n. What did that do? That created a little split line right there. The \\, what did it do? You can see right there it creates a backslash. So that's a way that you have a backslash in your characters so that way you can print a backslash. Sounds confusing, but it actually makes total sense if you think about it. And then so on. The rest of the program is pretty much the same thing, just using tabs, \, characters, new lines to format some paragraphs. Now, granted, you don't need to do this. You could actually put the raw tab characters into this one, but this is sort of handy and it's very common, so it's good to learn these escape sequences. Incidentally, these escape sequences are found in so many programming languages all over. Every programming language has some kind of escape sequence. Some might not use a \. I know in Lua they use a %, I think. But they'll use some sort of escape sequence just because you sort of need to have an escape if you're going to have strings that are bounded by some character. All right, that's the end of exercise 10. I'll see you in exercise 11.